I used to weigh 454 pounds. I lost 176 pounds. Here's my story. When I was a kid, I was a pretty average sized kid. It was about middle school, I would say, probably my 6th grade years is probably what I remember being bigger than everybody else. And hopefully I've found some pictures to demonstrate these different stages as I talk about them. Because, you know, when I was a kid, I'm 36, almost 37 years old. And, you know, back then we didn't have our Facebook feed to go back and pull pictures from, or just our camera rolls on our phone. So hopefully my mom's got some pictures I can put in the video to demonstrate these different stages. I'm trying to decide what distance to be at visually. So thought it would be easier to do this if I did it walking around. You know, I'm not overly worried about how I look on the camera. That's the point of this story, is I don't look like this anymore. So middle school, high school, I noticed I was bigger than everyone else. Didn't really pay attention to it. I was in a split household, lived with my dad majority of my older childhood, but my mom some as well. And, you know, I remember in high school weighing on a scale in the wrestling room, the weight room, just as a joke with one of my friends. I remember it said 355. I'll never forget that. And that was a lot. That was a lot to process. I'm, you know, 16 or however old I was. Thought maybe I was 300, maybe. Had no idea. 355. Did I do anything about it? No. That was in 2007, maybe. Something like that. I graduated in 2008, so somewhere in there. So I go on to become an adult, get bigger. And pretty much my 20s, I pretty much floated between 3 and 350 all the time. I mean, I was my normal. I was, you know, shy, uncomfortable, you know, never really pursued relationships, things like that, because my confidence was so bad. And that's still a working problem now, but I'm not as backward and shy. I'm pretty outgoing now, really. Hence this camera, which hopefully it will get a little less awkward standing around talking to a camera. So my, late 20s, I had some anxiety issues, went to the doctor, and that's when I realized, because I didn't have scales big enough. I didn't have scales big enough to weigh me. So I realized that I was in the 390s at one point in 2018. Consequently, in 2018, we made a lot of YouTube videos, me and my family, which you can still see them. I made them public here recently. So those are available. They're pretty cringy, but they are out to watch. If you so choose, you can see what I was like then, weight-wise. Not my heaviest by far, because I was in the high 300s, pushing 4. Did I do anything about it? No. I, once again, did nothing. This camera is sick, by the way. I can just walk around. It just tracks me. Osmo Pocket 3. Awesome. So I did nothing about it even then. 2018, I'm pushing 400 pounds. I've seen 600-pound life. Did nothing about it, of course. Just wasn't ready. Didn't hit that spot, that point where I was ready. So then I switched jobs in 2020, into 2020 during COVID. I switched jobs from a physical job. I was delivering soda and snacks and on my feet, hustling all day. I switched to an office job, sales. And at that point, when I really spiraled, and I should have known that, because I went from being active, eating like shit, to being zero active and eating like shit. So I quickly got to at least 454. I say at least because that's just the highest point that I was weighed. I'm sure there was a point in 2022, some of the pictures would say that I was probably bigger than 454, but That's my highest documented weight, 454 pounds. And me and my son went to Universal Orlando in 2022. And it was, I love that place. We go every year now. Gonna go, matter of fact, in a month. We got some vlogs even on the channel. So we go to Universal. I can't do anything. I can't do any of the fun shit. I can ride like the 3D rides and things like that. But I love roller coasters. I always loved roller coasters. Well, I couldn't ride any. Couldn't do any of that. Can't fit. I was huge. And at that point, I hit my mark, or hit my rock bottom. At that point, I hit my rock bottom. I said, the next time I come here, I'm going to be able to ride this shit. Then I went home. That was in June. Went home, did nothing. Rock bottom lasted 7 months. January of 2023, what can I do to change myself? I clearly can't do this on my own and stick to it. I've got too much weight to lose. I've tried everything. I've done the keto diets. I've done all this shit. I need help. I clearly need help. Well, I'm a fan of the 1,000 Pound Sisters, who happen to be from the same area as me. One from Kentucky. And I did some research, reached out to them even, and asked if Dr. Smith, who's also in Kentucky, was a good surgeon, as good a surgeon as he seems on TV. And they said he's the best, absolutely. So I reached out, signed up for his program. I went through all that. There's a couple of videos that I have private, but I will make them public, telling that brief. I was going to document all this back then in 2023, and I didn't do it. I decided to go to Instagram and post pictures and stories and stuff instead of video. So you can see my journey. It's just through pictures and posts on Instagram at MrSmallCakes. You can see all that there. But I do have a couple of videos I filmed. Those will be public again for you to enjoy or not enjoy, whichever. But, so I won't get too far into that. I had sleeve gastrectomy, gastric sleeve. Removed, 80% or whatever of my stomach. Great. First couple weeks, brutal, but great. Restriction kind of resets your mind because you can't physically do what you've always done. So you are, animals making noises. You cannot do what you've always done anymore. So that forces your mind to get on board. So that was in 2023. So the weight just slammed down, just the first 12 months, cheat code for sure. Maybe that's not the right word, but definitely got significant help the first 12 months from the weight loss surgery. Then reality sets back in, and I can eat pretty decent portions again. So 2024 comes along. I had my gallbladder go out. My gallbladder, went out. I was about 300-ish then. Remember, I dropped below 300 because I was fasting for surgery. And then I had that. Then I had this was my lowest point. I was 276, I believe it was, 278. I have to look. I was just below 280. Awesome. I was 454. So being below 280, incredible. My goal was just to get to below 250. So yeah, gallbladder goes out. Had surgery for that. Took 3 or 4 days in the hospital for them to figure it out and all that. Long story. Then a couple months later, my appendix goes bad. Overnight, next day surgery, take out my appendix. Drastic weight loss caused that? Probably. So then I kind of lost my way a bit. Back half of 2024, I lost my way. It wasn't really, didn't gain any weight, but I didn't lose any weight. Just kind of stayed 280-ish. Well, next thing you know, January 2025 rolls around. Oh boy's back to 300. Whoa. So I spent 2025 between 300 and 320. So that's, that is what it is. I got enough control on my own, because this is on my own now. I'm still restricted, but not much. I can eat the same portion as your mom probably would eat at a restaurant. I mean, I take some home usually. I don't eat the whole thing, but it's not the 3 or 4 bites and you're full anymore. It's back. You're back on your own at this point. This is where people fail. This is where people gain weight again. That was happening to me. I got a grip on it. I said, no, we're not doing this. So 2025, we go back to Universal, which we've been 3 times at this point. Now I can ride all the rides. It's awesome. But I can tell I'm bigger. I can tell. I put that 30 pounds or whatever back on. I got it back up to 320, I think. And I'm like, no, we got to get a grip on this again. And then my son helped me to regain my motivation. My son, Matt, he's 15. Bless his heart, he's got my genetics. He was heading his way 100%. Okay, 90%. He was heading toward where I was. You know, he's getting taller, which is good, but he's in the, mid 200s. 240, 250, 260, 265. And I'm like, man, I hate they're mad to have that life. I really do. And one day, it snapped for him. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And he started tracking his calories, started playing basketball. That's why I started this video with the basketball court. He started playing basketball every day. He's burning so many calories on his Apple Watch. It's nuts. Tracking his meals through Lose It. Love that app, by the way, if you need one. $30 a year for the macro unlimited sort of thing. Well worth it. Spend the money. So, Matt, I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I'm not I haven't tracked in a year. Let me get back on this. Let me start tracking. Let me start exercising again. I love to walk. That's how I did most of my activity, was walking. I did some strength training. And I tried to preserve what muscle I could. But it's just here lately that I've really started studying and trying to dial in on exercise and build some strength and things like that. That's very recent, like just this past week recent. So hopefully we'll have some progress there to report soon. But I have a tank on. So Matthew, my son, re-inspired me. This was a month, 2 months ago, I don't know. Either way. So I, again, trickling back down. And this morning, back down to 294, which is 160 pounds. So as of right now, I've down 160 pounds. How did I do it? I had some help. And that's nothing wrong with that. If you're as big as I was, doing this on your own and getting to where I'm at and staying there, not very realistic for me. Just for me anyway. Some people can do it and it's awesome, so awesome. I couldn't. There's no way I was gonna do it on my own. So now I am back on my own. And I've got this under control for the past weeks, past however many weeks. We've just been ticking down. And the goal is I go to Universal on June the 3rd. My goal is to be back in the 280s by then. Easy. If not at 280, that'd be even better. But I've got about 40 days to lose at least 6 to 10 pounds would be awesome. So yeah, I'm not trying to do this fast. I'm not trying to do any kind of crazy diets. I'm just doing calorie restriction, keep the protein up, and that's about it. Peach Fit on YouTube is where it's kind of got me motivated to try to learn more about the strength training and whatnot. So that's my story. This is vlog 1 of hopefully more than 2. Because last time I said all this shit, and I, sure enough, filmed 2 videos and said, oh, this will be all it is, you just post on Instagram. Which worked. I mean, I had following on Instagram. So if you saw a short from this video, drop that down in the comments. Love to hear from you. And if you got a story to tell, we'd love to hear it. You comment that. Follow me on social media at MrSmallCakes. Would love to chat with you. Let's build a community of people who aren't, jacked to the gills and just trying to get through this life, man. I'm obsessed with this camera, if you can't tell. I just love moving around. Maybe move over here. I'll let follow me, Awesome. Now, I think that's all I'm going to tell today. This is going to be long form vlogs, probably vlog style. they're not going to be heavily produced because I'm an amateur editor. I'm the first to tell you. I have 2 jobs, so I'm not sitting around all day with time to edit and really spend. It's going to be the content. The content's going to tell this story, not a bunch of super produced editing, which is fun. So there may be some of that if I can figure it out. But mostly it's the content. And I would love for you to join me on this journey. I need like a fancy, like, I'm out, peace. That's what I used to say. I would go up to the camera, I'm out, peace. I'm not gonna do that. I got so much more drive and energy. I walked 3 miles this morning. I sure did. I woke up 6 a.m., went out. I was like, I'm gonna walk. I walked 3 miles. I made me oh, the camera lost me. Made me a iced protein coffee. I'll show you how to make this in a video. It's so good, awesome. Yeah, I just switched proteins and it's still awesome. I had my protein. I had me a breakfast sandwich. Felt good. Walked 3 miles, 54 minutes. Love it. Feels so good. So yeah, part 1 concluded. I'm out. Peace. Now it's recorded. Okay.